Hey, good morning, 8th graders. Uh, just a quick video today, just going to let you know what's due. We have a narration that's due today on the four sections that we read on Monday and Tuesday. And I want to do a quick little narration for you, try to see if I can do a justice of a summary of what we've been reading. And then also, I'd like to let you know that we're going to be reading Antony and Cleopatra next after this packet's done. It's by William Shakespeare. And um, you can find the text at the school. I remember I said I put copies there. So if you go in the front door, you'll see some copies of Antony and Cleopatra. But if you don't want to go to the school, I have a link that I'll give you to the text online. So you can read it online. It will have the original and an updated version, so you can kind of go back and forth and sort of go make sure you're understanding what's happening in it. So that's a good resource, even if you do go get the book at the school. Either way, it's fine for me. But the school will be open every day from 8 to 10 in the morning if you want to go by and get that book. All right, let me do a quick little narration for you of our readings. Let me get my paper out just to remember where we're at. Okay, good. We're in the era of the Roman Republic, where most of the power is held by the people who get to vote on who's going to be in the Senate, and then the Senate gets to make up laws, and those laws are then enforced by the consuls. There are two consuls at this time, and they're expanding and expanding and expanding. They're moving out, and at home, in the section Roman amusements, we see that the Roman people start to lose touch with their core values of who they are, the Roman values that they got really strong with, and they started just taking it a little easier. And we've seen this pattern over and over again in ancient history, and we see it today in modern history too. That people sometimes start to forget who they are, and they take it easy a little bit. They sort of become a little lazy, and they forget about who they really are. And that's what happened to the Roman people a little bit. They cared more about entertainment, amusement, than they did about taking care of their republic. And because of that, they start to lose their republic. The government starts to split up in the next section under three guys, Pompey, Crassus, and Julius Caesar. They are Roman generals who start to grab more power as they command giant armies, and their people are at home kind of taking it easy. More authority is placed in their hands. And so Pompey establishes himself as a hero by making the Mediterranean Sea safe for everyone. There were lots of pirates out at this time. People could just go up to your ship, take it, and steal all your stuff, and then kick you out into the ocean. Well, Pompey made the seas safe for all the merchants who were traveling and trying to do business. And he did that partly by giving the pirates places to live. They said, listen, instead of trying to punish you, we'll give you land, and we'll give you a place to stay, and then you can have your own kingdoms, your own little cities. And so he incorporated the pirates into the Roman Republic. So that was kind of a smart, wise move. Instead of trying to fight him, he said, why don't you just join us? And that's what he did. We see in this section too, back at home, there's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy of Catiline. It's about a bunch of young guys in Rome who tried to shake things up and maybe do a little power play move where they take over Rome from the inside. That conspiracy is found out and uprooted by a guy named Cicero, and Cicero becomes really famous. It's a name you've heard in Latin class. Cicero puts him on trial. He's the lawyer who prosecutes him, and he's really becomes a famous Roman citizen because of his work making sure that Catiline doesn't get away with his conspiracy to overthrow the Republic. The triumvirate takes power, and Pompey's out over in the east, Julius Caesar is over in the west in Gaul, which is today France, and he's taking over Gaul. And when I say take over, I mean really taking over. He kills probably about 1 million people, and today we would call this a genocide. Back then they were like, yes, amazing conquering, but he wiped out a people and stole their stuff and um, let his soldiers do some really brutal, awful things. And he was received as a hero in Rome for all of that. We should probably look at him more like a villain, um, a tyrant, a guy who um, is very brutal and does some really disgusting things in Gaul. And then, yeah, that's the last section was Caesar's conquest. He takes over Gaul, and one of the key moments too is that one of the three people in the triumvirate, Crassus, he tries to start a war just like everybody else is starting wars to get lots of money. He starts a war with his group of soldiers over in the Parthian region. That's up kind of like east and north from Rome, and he ends up losing. And now that triumvirate becomes just two guys, Pompey versus Julius Caesar. And three people kind of can maybe like split up power, but two, it's going to be a fight now between those two guys. And Julius Caesar and Pompey are going to go head to head in the next section. So that's a summary of the readings from Monday and Tuesday, something like that. If you could write on a narration and send it to me, or not actually send it to me, just add it to your narration doc. All right, have a great Wednesday. Bye.